Thank you for joining us today. I'm Dr. Sincee Callahan, metaphysician and chancellor at Interlight University, ELU. And our topic today is going to be about family. Lately, I've been hearing all these different things about what is a family, what are the roles of the members of the family. What does it mean in our society today? It seems like we've kind of erased family. We've kind of wiped it out. We've changed it, and people are confused about not only what a family is, but their role and who they actually are and how they need to identify in this circle that is so very important. Early in the week, I was invited to a party with a family member for a child, and we went to the party. Everything was great. And there was a gift that was given to the child that the mother didn't approve of. And because of that, other family members saw it, and it caused a real tiff in the family. And so I want to talk about how to deal with situations like this, how to appreciate the person that's being celebrated, and the benefit and the intent of the whole situation. Today, joining me, I have the Stenzos, my co-hosts, Sharon and Dave Stenzo, who are also counselors, and they also have the Blue Door Counseling Center, and they work with us in the methods that we teach at ELU about soul and understanding yourself and identifying yourself and having principles and the truth and family and circles and all that stuff. So they're joining us today, and we're just going to chat about family, wherever that takes us. We here on Simply Sincee, we just never know. We just never know where it's going to go. But we know that we're going to be absolutely truthful about it. And our intent is not to offend anyone. We're never trying to offend anyone. Our goal is to kind of shake up soul and get you excited about life, about living, and being able to appreciate all the little things that life has to offer you. And I know that it starts with family. It starts right in the beginning when soul enters into that family, and there it is. Life is happening. So I want to turn it over to my co-host and see what they've got to say about family. And we'll just go wherever it takes us.
I always have a lot to say, so I'm going to go. I do. So go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because everybody's family dynamic is a little bit different, and everybody has different relationships with their family because not everything's the same, and people aren't the same. But I think there's certain roles and characteristics that you look for in a family that need to be provided to have a good, healthy family environment. And I think it's the not recognizing those roles and not recognizing the difference between males and females and what they have to contribute to contribute to those roles that kind of makes a difference in that and have a healthy family dynamic. From my experience in my family growing up, I grew up my mom was basically a single mother raising us. My dad died when I was 3 years old, and my mom had 7 children that she raised. My youngest sister was born when my dad was in the hospital after his accident. So she was put in that type of experience. But I can see the dynamics between what a father would provide and what a mother provides. And I'm grateful for what my mother did provide for us because she had a strength of character in her that, she raised us. We're all, grown and successful. And her style of raising us, and I would say even protecting us, was out of caution and fear. And I observing other mothers in their role, it's like, how do I protect my child and how do I keep them safe? And it's a drawing in and protecting out of kind of that care and caution and nurturing the person. And my mother was very nurturing, and I think that's when you look at male and female, you see traditionally that emotional side of a female. There's that caring, there's an emotion, which I think is healthy. What I think you see in a male, when you look at as provider and protector, it's more from a position of strength. You know, you are strong, you take care of it, and you're going, it's more forward strength. It's not putting up the fences, covering, you know, your child. It's like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to attack that threat to my family, and I'm going to go be proactive and do that. So there's more of a boldness in the male persona and characteristics that's forward, and that's what you take, you know, kind of in life. You're taking care of the life, you're providing, you're proactive in doing that, and it's engaging with people proactively to do that.
And I think one of the things too, I was confused as a mother because I thought I had to do everything, you know, and I wouldn't even allow him to protect. And as a female, I wasn't effective, like you said. That example of, oh, do we have that on the, or were we chatting about that insurance person coming to the door, and when the female says, no, we're having dinner, it was exhausting, and that's the problem. As a female, you know, I needed to stay in my role because I don't appear nurturing, but I am nurturing. So even now with Dave, I'll say, you know, you're the better one to talk to Matt about that. I'm the better one to do it in this way. And I think not trying to usurp somebody's responsibility even, because then it creates a problem in the family dynamic, you know.
The example that you were talking about for our viewers is before we started this podcast, we were just chatting about the differences in the approach of the male and the female, that the female is much more of a nurturer and the male's responsibility is a provider, protector. And the example that we were sharing was one of a couple in a movie I saw recently where the family was having dinner and the doorbell rang, and the mother went to the door, and it was an insurance person. And they were trying to sell insurance while the family was having dinner. And she said to them, listen, we're having dinner right now. I can't have this conversation. And the insurance person was real persistent and said, well, I just want to show you this. And she tried to, you know, be nurturing with this person, saying that, well, we're having dinner right now. I can't do it right now. It's interrupting our dinner. And, you know, then she tried to move away, and the person put their foot in the door, and she just pushed the door closed. Well, before she could get all the way back to the dinner table, the doorbell just started pinging again. And the father said, sit down, honey, I got this. So he went to the door. He opened the door. The person said, look, I just want to sell you this insurance. And the father said, we're having dinner. Go away. Pretty much just get off my door. Stop ringing the doorbell. And the person said, yes, sir, and went away. You know, and we were talking about the differences and the strength of the male and the female. And I feel that in society today, you know, family has been completely disrupted. A lot of people say it's because finally people are understanding that men and women are equal and all these different things that are going on. But the truth is, men and women, we are not equal in what we are intended to be. We may be able to do some of the same jobs, but the truth is we really can't. Women cannot do what men can do, and men cannot do what women can do. You know, and that's what makes the family dynamic so wonderful. That's what makes it whole. You know, and I'm going to get in a little trouble, but I always do, because if you have two mothers, and, you know, someone will say, well, Sincee, for centuries, Black women have been raising with the grandmother and the mother and, you know, raising children, but we are having a problem with our males today. We've got men who need to be in touch with their emotion when they need to have the strength to make that family whole and say, look, we'll be emotional about this after we take care of the problem. We are not going to sit down and cry about it because one of us have to make something happen. And when you have a situation where you have two mothers raising boys or two fathers trying to raise girls, you get a society pretty much like the one we are living in today, where there's a lot of confusion and when women really feel equal to men and boys feel like or men feel like they need to be more in touch with their emotional side. I'm not saying that men shouldn't listen and respond. I think it's absolutely necessary for couples to really fall in love with each other, and the way we do that is to communicate. And if you're communicating, you don't need to take sides.
Yeah.
I was listening to a comedian. Oh, I can't remember his name. I wish I could, but I'm really not good with names, more with energies. And he was saying that his whole skit was, I'm so mad at the millennials because now I don't really know who I am, but I wonder what millennials do when they go to bed at night. They have to lay on their side because they can't show who's the most dominant person in the room. And I just thought that was hilarious, but I could feel in his audience a whole lot of people tightening up. And I just thought, that's something we should talk about, because we shouldn't get tensed up about what's the truth, and we did not create this planet. Literally, we are visiting. We are wrapped in a body. We were talking about that previously. We have a life. We are given birth. We are birth, and then we are given life, and we do have some definite roles. We are male. We are two species of human, male and female. That's what we truly are, and we are that way because it is a reproductive planet. And I wish everybody would stop being afraid to say the truth, because that's why it looks so crazy out there. And I think maybe more to our generation and the youngest generation that's coming through, the alphas. It's a strange looking world, and the alphas are not wanting to tolerate it. And a lot of people say, oh, well, the Zs, they're this and that. But the Zs have strong character. It really is the millennials who came to shake us up, to get us back to the truth. We have roles. We want to talk about the family. And when a child comes into life, they come through a mother, a woman. What is a woman? A woman is someone who has parts that allows her to reproduce and let a physical body pass through so life can enter into it. That's what a woman is. A woman is something that a man isn't. A man has parts that allows the woman to be able to to ignite that fire inside of her to produce what is necessary. There is a difference. We come together for a purpose, just like everything in this planet that we choose to live in the whole universe that we choose to live in, there is a purpose, and we have to get to the point of being truthful. In family, when that young life comes through, it has guardians, a mother, a father. It should have a mother and a father. Even if the child doesn't stay in that family, it should be in a family where it has balance. Sometimes a woman will give birth for another family. That happens all the time. We can just be okay with that, But the point that I really want to make is that there's this family circle: mother, father, grandparents, uncles, aunts, and all those people that are here and past the age of 18 are now the guardians of the ones that are coming through. We need to pay attention to that and understand the importance of that and the roles that we have to play, and do something about appreciating life as we have it. Everybody's just sitting around talking about what everybody's doing and agreeing to things they don't really want to agree to. No principle, no courage, no strength. All the wrong kind of nurture. All the emotional body, all disrupted. What kind of guidance can we give to those who want the information? Because there is a lot of people that are just mad and fiery listening to this, but there is a truth to life. Mm-hmm. We are here for a short time, temporarily. What kind of love, what kind of greatness, what kind of memories can you leave behind? We wake up in the morning in a family or whatever we choose to wake up in, and we think about how much chaos we can create, who we could be mad at, what political party we're going to fight for today or tomorrow, what religion we're going to be a part of, what neighbor we're going to hate, what animal we're going to get mad at. There's just all kind of chaos in the world. That doesn't make sense when we could just wake up in the morning, understanding who we are, what our purpose is, and how to make life sweet. Wake up with what can I do that's good instead of what can I do that's not good. And I know that was a whole mouthful. I have so much that I could talk about for hours, but because this family thing really has me worked up, because I believe in family, and I come from a very large family, and there's just chaos. And I know that sometimes we feel that when you're born into a family, that you have to tolerate everything any family member does. But you've got to identify yourself, and there are some family members that will challenge you and teach you the hardest lessons, and then you need to let go. And we've all had some experiences like that, I know that you have had some really tough experiences like that. I know you have also, Dave, and I have. And, it's not that we don't love the people that we've grown with and have been in our circle. It's just that we can't be in love with them. We have to love them unconditionally, because being in love with them creates chaos for everybody else who's a part of that circle.
And
Hi, everyone. I'm Dom Salino. I want to thank you for listening to this podcast. But right now, I want to talk about Enlight University. ELU is a very unique experience. It's a school that will enable you to be original thinkers, to have your own original thoughts, and to be able to think for yourself. By doing that, it'll enable you to think, to be true, kind, and fair, and most of all, to learn your principles. Once you establish your principles, and then you continue in a whole new realm. The school has classes that are designed to help you along this process. And with that, I want to invite you to look at the website for Enlight University. There you can see the list of classes that are available and see what works for you.
And the really important thing to that is when you've made that decision of saying that, I can no longer physically be in their space or whatever that is, you still can't go back and use that as, well, my childhood was like that, or my experience with that person, because you're still hanging on to it. I think that's really important to understand when you've made that decision. It's an experience for you. I don't even like using the word trauma. I think people have significant experiences. I feel like trauma is, that's why I like to identify words. Tell me what that means to you, or even that word equal. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Like if I'm having a conversation with somebody, and they'll say like men and women need to be equal. I'm going to ask the question, what does that mean? What do you mean by equal? I don't, because Dave and I are not equal. We're respectful. We respect each other's who we are, but I think equal is an interesting word. It's just like, I like to know what people think about that. But
And that's a very good thing in everything that you do, is
Everything.
to ask a
Ask the
person
question,
to
what it
define
means. Yeah.
what it actually is.
somebody
To
like
define
that.
what it actually is, because, I feel that we are equal in the sense that we are all physical beings we're a soul with a physical body.
Yep.
That's, for me, that's equal.
Yeah.
That's, when I say equal, that's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
But, we're equally good at whatever we're good at, but not all the same things. I can't lift the chair the way Dave could lift that chair. You can't lift it. We could pretend we can, and Dave can't do things that he can't nurture that baby and give him that bottle and do things that he can do it.
'Cause
But the child sense is the difference in the nurture.
Because equal doesn't mean the same.
It does not mean
Because
the
we're all
same.
different,
That
but
does not mean
we
the
all
same.
deserve the same equal dignity and equal respect
Mm-hmm.
for who we are for that. And
If you-
equal means treating each other as, with that same, like, respect that you would with everybody. But we're not the same.
No.
Men and women aren't the same. some men aren't the same as other men. There's no equality in there. There's certain things that men and women can do equally the same, but they're still different. They're still come in a different way.
And you have to take responsibility for the truth in that. So I think the trick is not the trick. The problem is when you're pretending. Like I understand pretending to be the protector. How the heck am I going to? I knew I was not doing a great job at that. I mean, you just know. You just know you're exhausted. You're trying to be something you're not. And then it becomes chaotic. Like even if you say, I've got two moms or two dads, I remember we had two guys in our neighborhood, they had two little boys, and I'd be like, oh, nobody's watching those boys. They're playing in the street. What are you doing? I'm like, these little guys are going to get run over by a car. Like coming, and I'm just like losing my mind, and I thought, what? It's just crazy. I'm not saying they're bad or whatever, but I'm saying I'm looking at things differently
That's
as a
very
female.
interesting the way you brought that up, because I've actually seen that.
Yeah.
And then I've seen the two mothers where they have the sons.
Yeah.
Don't get off the porch and play because you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah, I've done that.
So it's,
And then they go, stop
it's-
that.
Yeah, and that's, the difference, in the way males and females think, our whole purpose
And
for
I-
it.
And
I
I'm
think-
just observing that. I'm not judging it. It's just an observation. And if no one, for me, even if someone points that out to me, what I'm not doing or what I'm doing, I don't need to get defensive about that. I'm going to take that information and I'm going to go, I'm going to do that better. And it's not going to take me time. I'm just going to do it better. If I want to make that change, I'm just going to do it. If you don't, that's fine too. I don't really care unless I'm in a space with you and I need to try to help you.
So do you think that sense of equality or wanting to be equal comes out of a sense of jealousy because of what society views as important? So society views somebody who's successful as somebody who has a job, somebody who has, power in the corporate world, somebody who's making a lot of money. So therefore, that's what people view as success, and they get jealous if they can't have that. So a woman looks at that and goes, well, if I'm not a successful, making a ton of money and doing this, then I am less than, I am not successful. So we put ideas of what success is, from a society standpoint, and then people say, well,
It becomes a competition.
I'm not
Yeah,
equal to
that's what I
you
think.
because you're making, $500,000 a year, and I'm watching kids at home all day. So I'm not successful, and I don't have value, and I don't have worth.
And
So you take that
that's a good
value and
point.
worth from what society says it is, and you don't have it because you don't recognize the value and worth that what you're doing provides. I think especially in our society that's very materialistic,
Yeah.
and it's very driven, and I think that's why a lot of families separate from, let's just say, those traditional roles, is because, well, we need to have two incomes to have this lifestyle because it's very materialistic. They're not looking at what you're really providing your family, which is that safe, secure environment from a mother and that provider, and security and protection from a father. They're two different roles, but you're focused on what we have to be successful, not the roles and how you're actually,
I think that goes back
what that
to-
family dynamic actually
the
is.
truth of what family actually is, and society has created this crazy competition between
Yeah.
men and women on races and religions and politics and everything. And when you get caught up into that, or if you are caught up in that, there's one thing I know for sure is that you don't know who you actually are. Because when you understand who you are, it's easy to play the role of life in a way that's comfortable, that feels like happiness or peaceful to you. When you identify yourself, and particularly in your family, this is who I am first of all before I even start my family. And then when you get into the family, The way you identify yourself is not the way someone else identifies you. You don't need to compete with your husband or your children or the mother-in-law, the father-in-law, whoever else is involved. You know for sure who you are. And you get in that family, you play the role. There are times when the husband and the wife are both working and the woman makes more money or in my relationship with my husband, we both have careers that are like this.
Yep.
So sometimes one's up when the other one's not. Very rarely we're up at the same time. But we don't, like, you made this much and I made that much, I'm more important.
Yep.
I don't think we even know how to even begin that conversation, because in the beginning we defined who we were and what we were to each other. And we're a family unit, and we're going to make this family unit work. And sometimes you may be able to have this job and that job, but the most important thing is that we have each other and we can make this work. But, in society, I feel that, you brought the point up about men being more successful. Men have, forever have been the provider, and I've got to build the house. I've got to find the money for the house. Women have always been, I'm having the baby, so I'll take care of the baby. I've lived with this body in me, and I know I have this sense of what it needs and how it works. So I'm better at this, and we were designed this way. Otherwise, we would be able to switch, make the decision of, okay, since I make the most money, you have the baby. But that's not how it actually is. There is an actual truth.
Yeah.
And it's not, as Dave said, it should never be materialistic. If you're competing with society, you've already lost the battle of having a successful family. When we allow soul to pass, the physical body to pass through us for soul to have an experience, we need to stop and really think about what that is. There are so many people that don't even have an idea what family is, and then when they become a part of a family, they immediately start destroying it because it's not comfortable, it's out of their control range, instead of taking a deep breath and saying, this feels good, I like this, everybody's working together, trying to bring harmony and peace in a particular thing. And, if you're one of those people that feel like you're a victim of a family, I guarantee you, if you stop and take a look in the mirror, you might be the one who's victimizing everybody. Stop, define who you are, and then understand what family is, even if you want to participate in a family. Because some people don't really want to be a part of that circle. But I don't think that you should get into a situation, become a part of something, and try to change and destroy it and make it uncomfortable. And I feel that's what society's doing when they start making men and women fight each other outside of everything else that we have to do. We have to stop fighting each other. We have to start thinking for ourselves and seeing the actual truth. That when you first meet someone, the man just loves the chase of that woman. And then when he gets her, what are you going to do when the chase is over? What is this going to look like? Is this really what you want? And for the woman, what is it you really want? And, we have women who have children from multiple men. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with how soul chooses to come through. What I'm saying is that there is an importance to the way you rear the individual that you agree to have. So if you want to have, if you bring in children with multiple fathers and you can't define what a family is because you don't even know the mother-in-law, you don't even know the grandmother of one of the children, and you have all this chaos, you're bringing up beings that are going to create more chaos in a society. And what I'm really trying to get here is for people to stop and think about what they're doing. Just stop thinking of what everybody else's thoughts, and I'm a mother, I'm a father, I agree to bring these children or this child into life. What's my next step? How do I get this job right? Not how I try to make this child better than somebody else or compete with somebody in this way. What's the best way we can create more harmony for generations? We don't think like that. We're just fighting ourselves. It's like standing in the mirror and just breaking it with your own fists.
I think the responsibility is, what are you creating?
Yes.
I don't like hearing when people say to me, and I said it before, well, this is how I grew up. I never had an opportunity. I didn't have a family that supported me. I didn't have the, stop. That's
it.
nonsense. It's complete nonsense. You have a responsibility now. You take that first circle. If you're competing in your first circle, I'm going to tell you, this is a problem. I can say that with complete confidence that if that's happening, then that's where you start with. That's where you got to start. Because if you're pulling from all these other things, and even us saying society and all that, where it starts is right there. If you are competing in your first circle, you have got a big, and I don't want to swear, but you got a big old problem, because it's just never going to get better. And what that does is, if that's how you operate there, you're pretty much probably operating like that in your
That goes
life.
back to the husband and wife too.
Yeah,
in that circle
exactly.
competing
Yeah,
with
yeah,
each
yeah.
other.
Exactly.
You know, if you've got little ones watching you compete.
Yeah.
They're going to grow up thinking that the world is a competition.
And
I mean, some people feel that it is, but it doesn't have to be.
But that's okay. If you are honest with that and say, I like that, I like
Yes.
to operate my family like that, mazel tov, as they say. But I think, truthfully, it's very chaotic.
It's chaotic.
It's very chaotic, and it's actually, if you don't have any principle, that's fine too.
And
Mine-
the chaos spreads.
Yeah,
and
the
we
chaos
we have
spreads.
this.
Then we're like, why
vibration
is it so,
in our planet
why
right
is it
now.
so chaotic? Why is it so chaotic? It's chaotic because it starts right there.
Because we
It
don't know who
starts
we are.
right
And we don't have principles to define us. So we're all over the place.
And when you have your principles, this is the great thing. I can say all these principles, but if you don't live them, it's not about trying, it's just about doing it. If you don't live them, it doesn't work.
You know,
Doesn't
and
work.
as the family circle is being developed, you don't want to go into a relationship and start a family without knowing what you're doing. So many people do that. Oh, I just want to get married so I can have kids. You know, what are the kids? Like
I did
trophies on the
that.
wall? Or,
I
you know,
did that.
Yeah,
I
know
did
lots
that.
of people
That's
that do
fair.
that. You know,
Yeah, I did that.
I mean, I want to get married. I knew people when I lived in Orange County, California, who had children, and they said literally, I need a tax write-off.
Yeah. At least
And
they
they
were
weren't
honest.
joking.
At least they were honest, right?
But you know, so when you decide to have a family, you know, it would be nice if you consider the souls that are coming through, not just what you think you want, but you have to expand your consciousness to be able to incorporate the others that are passing through. And, you know, I would think the first thing you think about is a good, nurturing, stable family. And a husband and a wife that's fighting about who's the boss, well, you're already defeated, you know. And when you have this family circle, when you're bringing these children up, you want to teach them to respect their elders or the people that came here before them and learned stuff. You don't want to corrupt your children and compete with them and trying to be their friends and putting one person, you know, one child, you know, fighting. The parents do that. They'll try to they want the kid to love them so much, so they try to make them love them by making them not love the other person. And then you create problems, and these kids grow up, and they create more problems, and their kids create. And that's what we see today. You know, there was a time when we understood what family was and a whole structure. We understood the man, the woman, the children. You know, we understood there were grandparents, and even the parents listened to their parents, you know. I grew up in a family where I had a mother and a father. I had grandparents and aunts and uncles and a whole bunch of kids to all those people. And everybody listened to the person that was age ahead of them. Even in my family, with my siblings, we're all like 2 years apart. There's a whole bunch of us. And if my sister that was older than me told me to be quiet and sit down, I did it. I may not have wanted to, but I was taught to respect the person that was slightly older than me. And I know in my life today, I have siblings that are younger than me. They're grandparents. They have grandkids. And if we're in a group and I say, okay, that's enough, they all stop. They all stop. Not that they want to, but they stop out of respect, and we're trying to teach all the children. And we'll go in another room and we'll have our little talk about, why'd you make me be quiet, But in a group, we respect each other. And I think that's one of the big things that, I'm getting a sign to shut up. But one of the big things that we don't pay attention to in our life is the importance of family, and that we are visiting this planet and everything has a purpose. I mean, our own planet has like a family of things that we are familiar with. And you guys know I'm going to say the sun and the moon and the stars and all those members of this universal family and this planet that we live in. And here we come into this life, and we don't appreciate living. We don't appreciate life. We allow life to come through, and we have the responsibility of it, and we take it for granted. What I'm asking everyone to do today, everyone who wish to, is to stop, take a look at your first circle. That first circle is the people. If you are married, it's your husband. If you have children, it's your children. If it's just you and your husband, that's your first circle. The next circle is the people that you would turn to in a crisis situation that you trust. And start from there. That third circle, well, those are just associates, people that are coming and going, and that may not be as relevant. You could even have family members in that third circle. But it's important in our society today to pay attention to what family is and appreciate it and realize that it is a gift of life. Your own life is a gift of life. But when you allow someone to come in your circle, stop and appreciate it. Don't go and say how much you love this Lord or Savior and all this stuff and then do something different. Don't pretend that life is perfect. When you see this circle and you know it isn't, take a look at your family circle and do everything you can to bring harmony and peace to it. And I want to thank you guys today for joining me. And we're going to bring in a couple of my other co-hosts, the Celinos, and we'll continue this discussion about family. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Go and have a great life.